you have any staff here?
Good evening, everybody. I'm honored to serve the city of Los Angeles, especially honored to serve Sherman Oaks, one of the great neighborhoods of the city, and especially proud of Valley Vista, one of the prettiest streets in the city. Wednesday night over these months, I celebrate the city by bike. We rode downtown. We rode up in Silver Lake with the park. Tonight we rode at Sherman Oaks. Some of my staff are going to keep riding through Sherman Oaks. But I wanted to meet Sharon Shapiro, the Hollywood deputy. Run out here, Sharon Shapiro. Lisa Schechter, Assistant Deputy Chief of Staff and Head of Finances for the office. Lisa Schechter, Valley Village President. Tommy Newman, get out here, Tommy. Sherman Oaks North Deputy right there. Alice Ross, Sherman Oaks Central. You got it. All over Sherman Oaks, my deputy, Alice Ross. Debbie Kim, my very special executive assistant, give her a hand. Jonathan Brand, very special planning deputy, chief of planning. Isaac Burks, Isaac special deputy of culture, as well as retired fireman, 33 years, and a U.S. Marine. And I'm very fortunate to have my chief of staff, Carolyn Ramsey, formerly of the Trust for Public Land, our leader in our office. Give Carolyn a big hand. And from Harvard University, who made a complaint about a bad sidewalk on Larchmont, and I said, don't complain about a bad sidewalk, come in and be an intern, now a regular associate planning deputy, communication deputy from Harvard, not Harvard College, Harvard University, Scott Levin. Give him a big hand. We're going to get a quick picture. Richard, back to you.
Thank you very much. Wait. Okay, Jules is our historian. He needs to take the official picture.
Take a knee in front, guys. Knee in front. Tight picture. Knee in front. Come on.
Wow. Ready, set.
And while he's taking a picture, we need some law and order here. Officer
We're not done yet.
Trent Berry, come up.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. That's a great picture. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. See you
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Tom will be back in a couple minutes. Okay, Officer Berry is the senior lead officer for Sherman Oaks. So he'll give us an update on what's happening in Sherman Oaks.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Officer Trent Berry, and I'm your senior lead officer for the northern Sherman Oaks area. It's a pleasure to be here tonight and see everyone once again. The good news I have to report is that currently, year to date, this time as compared to last year, we are currently down 5% overall, and we can't do that on ourselves alone, so I want to send out a thanks to all of you for your part as being good neighbors out there and reporting what you see. One thing I want to pass along as the summer months are approaching, I know a lot of us get into the habits when it gets hot. We like to leave our homes open, windows open when you leave. Please, if you can get into the good habit of securing your homes, especially if you're going to be away during the daytime hours. Lock your doors, keep the windows closed during the summer months. Some of us get into these habits of wanting to leave a window open to air out the house or whatnot. But, you know, there's opportunists out there. There are suspects walking the neighborhoods, and if they see an opportunity to get into your home, most likely they're going to take advantage of that. I'm going to be in the back of the room. If any of you have any questions for me, just feel free to come up to me. Yes.
Well, actually, you have to hold the questions, but if you could introduce two of your fellow members.
Absolutely. We have on loan to the senior lead office, David Brandstetter, and we also have covering the southern Sherman Oaks area, Jose Saldana.
Okay, if there's any questions, back of the room, each of them is available. Okay, let's have Bob Anderson to give us an update on helicopter noise.
Thanks, Richard. We've had some pretty good meetings over the last month. I formed a group. There's 11 of us. We're called the Los Angeles Area Helicopter Noise Coalition. And about 3 weeks ago, we met. Congressman Schiff organized a meeting with all the emergency helicopter pilots. about 30 of them from all over the area, LA Fire, LAPD, county, and we talked about how they can help quiet their operations. It's a little tricky because they're out there serving us, but they are willing to work with us, and that's important. And then a week ago Monday, Congressman Schiff held a hearing. The FAA has done a report on helicopter noise, and I'll give you the bottom line of the report. The FAA said it's such a complex problem, there's nothing we can do. It's just too complicated. So Congressman Schiff held a hearing. 4 of our members, myself and 3 others, asked the FAA some really tough questions and told them they were essentially not doing their job. And they're on the hook to respond to our questions, 2 of which they couldn't answer at all at the meeting. And so we're making some progress. It's slow but sure. Congressman Schiff's office, Supervisor Yaroslavsky, Congressman Cardenas, Senator Feinstein, Senator Boxer are all in support of federal regulation to regulate helicopter noise in LA for non-emergency helicopters. And some things happened at this hearing that got the Congressman Schiff a little bit upset, so he's really going to push that legislation. And we're hoping that it happens. So we may be asking for support from you and try to keep the noise levels down. Thanks.
Bob, you were a little too humble. You said you and 7 people or something got together and formed a group. That's kind of boring. Are these 7 people of importance? Are they 7 people your neighbors, or who are these people generic? You don't have to name them, but
I won't name them. There's 2 members of the Van Nuys Airport Noise Community. There's the president of the Friends of Griffith Park, a person who represents an organization in the Hollywood sign. We've got the mayor of West Hollywood. We have a councilman from Lomita, and 2 people from the Palos Verdes area that are head of their homeowners associations down there, and a couple of other people. So it's a pretty good group, and it's from all around the county. We're looking for county-wide support on this.
thank you. Why don't we have Kimberly Gersten? Where's Kimberly?
She was already up.
Did I miss you?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't we bring up some of the deputies that are here that don't work for Tom LaBonge and introduce themselves.
Deputy City Attorney and member of the school board, Marco.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today. It's always nice to see a room of people who care so deeply about their communities. And
Who are you?
my name is Matthew Vallestia, and I am the new field representative for Congressman Brad Sherman's office. I look forward to meeting many of you and trying to work with you to get your concerns across to our office so that we can do what we can to help. We do have a major constituents office that we help with federal agencies. In case you have an issue with Social Security benefits or collecting those, or if you have veterans issues, we can help you as well. So just want to introduce myself. Thanks for having me.
Okay, and you know one of the obligations. Jules, did you tell him?
No, I forgot.
Oh, he forgot to tell you. You need to be here the 3rd Wednesday of each month. That's part of your job, right?
I'll be here.
I hope, but not until, just so everyone knows, there's no July meeting or newsletter, so we'll see you at the August meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And here's a person that knows, how many years have you been coming to virtually every meeting? 11 years. I remember when you were just a little kid. Who are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Tamar Gallatin. I'm a deputy city attorney. I'm the neighborhood prosecutor for Sherman Oaks. What I am working on right now is today we actually had a city attorney office hearing with a property owner on Ventura Boulevard that rented a lot of space in a commercial building to a woman who is running an illegal nightclub with absolutely no permits and generating a lot of calls to LAPD. So we had a meeting with the owner of the property to basically let him know either he figures out a way to take care of this nuisance or we will for him, and he won't like that. So So he was very receptive, so that was a good meeting. So we're working on that. I prosecuted a bunch of cases that have come out of that illegal club. Also, this time of year, starting to get warmer out, people are sleeping with their windows open, they're spending more time outside, so this is our busy time of year for noise complaints. And as Richard said, I've been the neighborhood prosecutor here for 11 years. In 11 years, I've never gotten a call about someone running an illegal dog kennel out of their house, and then I got 3 in 2 days from Sherman Oaks and Studio City. So seems to be some big uptick in people running illegal dog kennels. So we're working on that, and then a lot of homeless issues. I know a lot of you have come up and talked to me about that. We're going to continue to work on it. And then several people have asked me, you have a new boss, what does that mean besides new business cards? And the answer is I don't know. And hopefully you guys will have Mr. Fuhrer at an upcoming meeting and talk to him a lot about the neighborhood prosecutor program, what his vision for it is. So if you see him or talk to him, you might want to tell him if you like the program, or you don't like the program, or how it could be better. And then the last piece is a lot of you know that the deputies in my office have been taking a lot of furlough days the last 2 years. Last year we had 36 furlough days. This year we had 34. In the budget that starts in July, we're back down to 0. So that is a good thing for us.
Okay, a question. Over the years, your territory has increased as they've shrunk the budget. What is your territory now?
Right now, I'm the neighborhood prosecutor for all of Van Nuys Division and all of the North Hollywood Division.
And what does that mean to the people in the room, as far as geographic? I don't know the division lines.
I have all of Van Nuys. Basically, I go from Sepulveda Boulevard, basically all the way to the Burbank line, to the city of Burbank. We go basically from Mulholland up to about Roscoe.
Huge area. And you still come to our meetings.
And I still come to these meetings
We
for
appreciate
11
that.
years.
11 years.
I think I've missed a few. I think I gave birth at one point. Kind of important things like that.
Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Steven. I work for State Assembly Member Adrin Nazarian. He is the State Assembly Member for the Sherman Oaks area. We represent you up in Sacramento. I'm happy to report that the Assembly and the Legislature just passed a balanced budget for the 3rd straight year with a $1.1 billion reserve and cutting our deficit $4.2 billion. So balanced budget, 3rd straight year. I just want to say hi, I'm in the neighborhood, in the community. I represent all of Sherman Oaks, Studio City. So if you ever need of any problems, state issues, anything related, feel free to call, email, text, Facebook, whatever it may be. I'm always here, I'm always available. Any events going on in the neighborhoods, I'd always love to be attending, aware of. Barbecues, block parties, whatever it may be. There's nothing too small or too big to attend or to just introduce myself to, especially anywhere I can get good food. Sorry. But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much, sir.
Is a dream to be running the city council when Tom LaBonge retires?
I have no idea.
Okay, just do it. I thought maybe you'd just tell me.
No. I can't talk politics on state time anymore.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Marshall and Matt Epstein, the chairman of the South Valley Planning Commission, if you could please leave the room as we talk about South Valley Planning Commission issues. Marshall heads up our committee on development.
The Evalagio Toscano project, lumber's on, slouching towards the city council. Tomorrow we're going to have a meeting where we first see the plans of the project.
Excuse me a minute. Tom, could you do me a favor? Could you be the sergeant at arms for that area and keep all the people quiet? Thank you very much.
So, since we haven't seen the plan yet, even though the planning commission passed it, We're going to hopefully be able to see that tomorrow. Tom has invited some supporters of the project and SOHA. So the other thing is that I had a meeting with on the 30 folks proposing an existing restaurant but with some extended hours and some entertainment. So if anybody has an input to that and wants to talk to me about it, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, and please ask Matt Epstein to come on in. I'd like to introduce the board of directors. If you have any questions or want to participate or want to get a problem solved, if the board could introduce themselves. Jules?
Jules Spear.
Jules Spear.
Bob Anderson.
You know, you have to give your name. It kind of,
Marshall Long.
Okay. Chuck Bat's over there hiding. Matt Epstein doesn't want to acknowledge himself. Okay, with that, we'd like to introduce our speaker this evening. Actually, he asked me not to tell you this, but I got it. Yeah, I'm sorry. How long was the ride that you participated in?
10 miles, but I've only gone 5.
You went 5 miles. So Tom said he's very tired. He's not going to be up like he normally is, and he's just going to be a very quiet individual tonight. And we understand. So with that, I'd like to introduce our councilman, Tom LaBonge. And before I do that, many of you who live in Stone Canyon, about 3 weeks ago, this is Tom, I'm trying to educate you. About 3 weeks ago, there was a big sinkhole in Stone Canyon. 300 families were trapped because there's no exit from where the sinkhole was. So for a 24-hour period, no police could get in there, no fire trucks could get in there, no one could get in there. So I want to congratulate your office. We called down to Carolyn at 8:30 in the morning. This happened around 6 a.m. And within 45 minutes, she was up to Stone Canyon. She had the police there, they had the fire department there, traffic control there, to come up with a plan as to what would happen if there were a heart attack or a fire or something, to get the trucks in there, because there was no way possible because of the sinkhole. So we want to thank your office and Carolyn, because customer service is real important to our community, and I know it's real important to you. With that, our councilman, Tom LaBonge.
Good evening. Give Richard a close-up of the hand. Thank you very much, Richard. And all the members of the board, good evening. We're already in the summer. Friday is the longest day of the year. Anyone want to get out and hike? I have a hike that I leave from 6 o'clock in the night up to the top of Mount Hollywood in Griffith Park, where we celebrate our community. In this particular one, at this solstice, we celebrate our international community with our sister cities, of which I'm president of, as well as our consular corps. Our city is very important in the shape of the world, and we should be encouraged. Following Hong Kong and New York, we have the most consulates of foreign governments. We're a diverse city. Our valley is diverse. Your community is diverse. It shows the influence of Los Angeles as an important place. So with that, I celebrate that international effort there, and I'm pleased that we're going to be part of the Sherman Oaks Fair with our Sister City program and our cultural dance coming up in the fall, which is real good. This is Carolyn Ramsey, my chief of staff. I want you to meet Alice Roth, is outside taking a constituent complaint. She's going to come in. Jonathan Brad is in the back. Come up here, Jonathan. You may have some questions there. They come up here. I do want to tell you, we put a little newsletter together in desktop publishing. I think we passed it out. There's a big thing that I believe about. I've been with the city 38 years. I love the city. I love the valley. I remember as a child going out here, and Uncle Lucy had a house, and I remember they had fruit trees in the back, little kids. I had 7 brothers. They had a big family. My mother came from a family of 11. There was nothing like family. I remember going out in grade school playing at the Pacific Lodge home for boys. Way out, the Ventura Freeway didn't go past, I think, White Oak. went way out there. And I went to West Valley Occupation Center. Why I mentioned that is they gave me 15 credits, and I finished high school in 2.5 years. It wasn't that I was a great student. I got A's in athletics and industrial arts, but back then, if you finish your credits, they let you go. Someone who's very important to me in my life, and he's important to you, Lauren Naaman. Get out here, Lauren. Lauren got straight A's at John Marshall High in all subjects. He was not on the football team, but he was the announcer. He's a resident of Sherman Oaks and a member of this association and a 35-year veteran of the DA's office. Give Lauren Naaman a big hand right there. So Richard, what I try to do is make people enjoy and love Los Angeles and celebrate the communities and beat the challenges that are there. There's public safety, which is so important. And I thank Van Nuys Division for all their work, the effectiveness of Chief Beck in leaving people where they are. Previously, other administrations, LAPD, would rotate captains in and out after a 2-year, 3-year cycle. If a captain is doing well in an area, they stay in an area. And the senior leads are our key to success. There's about 136 senior leads from San Pedro to Chatsworth. They're in the district, they're our conduit, they're very important. Public safety, fire department, extremely safety, and it's going to be a real dry year. I love city history. We're celebrating the centennial of the aqueduct in Mulholland, but this is going to be the lowest import of water from Owens Valley due to the drought that we're in. We got to be water wise. That's a tip we got to have. And I know a lot of you have pools. You got to be water wise because we have a challenge with water ant coming up this summer. Public safety extremely important. Public health is important. Somebody wants to make the city have a Department of Public Health. You heard that, Richard? I don't want it. I want the county to continue to do the job that they do effectively, as opposed to having another city department. I don't oppose that. It's $356 million. It's an idea that I hopefully don't approve. And they may have it on the ballot. If it gets the ballot, vote no, because the county has been effective. In our development in this county, there's 88 cities in the county. Only 3 cities have their own health department. Vernon, an industrial city, Long Beach, a port city, their health department formed in 1906, and Pasadena, over 120 years, as a separate health agency. We don't need another department in the city. We should be in the county do that. And also the Lakewood Plan. Richard, you know what the Lakewood Plan is? Richard? Absolutely. Absolutely. He's LAFCO, which is the Local Agency Formation Committee. Lakewood Plan allows cities to contract with the county for services. Duplicative services don't make sense. It's all your tax dollars. I'm going to be asking, and thank you, Carolyn Ramsey. We meet, we discuss issues to create what we call a joint use committee. We just spent a lot of money at Valley College, right? We spent a lot of money at Sherman Oaks Park, right? We spent a lot of money at LA Unified Schools, right? All this is your money, but yet the joint use and to maximize it doesn't get done as effectively. If we were an orchestra, we'd be out of tune. I want to get us in tune with the joint use, and talking with Carolyn and developing this is the key to get effective use of our tax dollars. Specifically, I love all parts of the city, and I did go to school out in the valley for a while. I did cruise Van Nuys, I just want to let you know, in the late 60s and all that, and this is a special place. I never got lucky, but that's okay. There was a nice girl at the Baskin Robbins, and, but it was very good, just positive feel. Anyway, the point I want to make is that your community is very special because it's a neighborhood. Yes, I had a bike ride tonight, and I do celebrate it. But Valley Vista is a unique street, of which many unique streets are in the Sherman Oaks area, which shows to the quality and care. But the services is what I got to try to get you. And I was happy to see someone came up to me, and this is very nice. They thanked me because they got their street paved, which is real good. And that gentleman is sitting where? Right here. Stand up and say it again so everybody knows how happy you are. What street was it again?
Beach Grove.
Beach Grove?
Yeah, the pothole destroyed my shocks, so my car. So.
God, so you're happy?
Good, yeah.
That's very good. I'd like to do more. Hopefully our new mayor will be focused on this as well. And Mr. Garcetti, I'm going to fight for more reconstruction of streets because we are getting older. My street was laid in 1925. My wife Bridget and I live in Lucille Avenue, right near Mitchell Tree in the Silver Lake District. And all the older streets need help. We are getting older, so we do need this work, and we need to have a construction for that, so we push for that. I do push for, Richard, also tree trimming. You know, we cut the budget for tree trimming, but we forgot to send a memo to the trees, because the trees have kept growing. And one thing that's bad about that, Richard, and you're a lawyer, you know, is the trees grow over the signal. And all of a sudden, I'm blocking you out there for your video cam, someone doesn't see the red light, and that tragedy, something of this, and then a lawsuit against the city. We are working on that to get the trees trimmed. If you do see a tree blocking a stop sign or a traffic light, please call our office and let us know. We do have a 311 system in Los Angeles, but I also like to hear from you and your deputies, and they're responsive. Alice, get out here, which is real important, to know Alice and the effectiveness of you on that.
Tom, will they give their cell numbers to the people in this audience? Is that possible?
Yeah. Alice is 359-30-0032. Good. And Jonathan, give your cell. But call during regular hours, like 9 to 6, because they do have families or their community meetings. But hopefully everybody is polite. Sometimes people get in your face, and if you get in somebody's face, I don't think you get what you want. You know, we will try to work for your benefit. That is the key. But tree trimming is real important. And another thing, I said I've been at the City Hall 38 years. And you know, there's been a lot of reports written in 38 years about a lot of certain things. But about 5 years ago, was it 5 years ago, Carolyn? I said, I'm going to call Tony Royster over at the Salvage in General Service and give me an old truck, Jules. And I hired some young people from the Conservation Corps. And you know, there's a couple things, I love a lot of things, Richard, but I hate bulky items sitting on the street. And I hate drains that are backed up. And I hate parkways that are not parkways, but litterways. And I love Lady Bird Johnson and Keep America Beautiful. And I love all the effort. And I love Hugh Hauser. Give Hugh Hauser in heaven. I love him. He's a very special guy. All of that is important. So working with Carolyn, developing a system, we have a Conservation Corps beautification team. And we take what is called street furniture money. Right now, when you see the bus stops and you see the advertising for the big movies, council offices get that for their projects. I put that into Public Works. Why? Because Public Works cut all their, what they call spot cleaning crews. There's nobody picking up. We love palm fronds. When they get on the street, we don't love them anymore. When all the palm trees, we love them. We pick them up and recycle them. We had a cleanup on Saturday in Griffith Park in Ferndale. By the way, Ferndale's very manicured beautifully now. If you want to take a walk some early Saturday or Sunday morning, it's beautiful right there in Los Feliz. I know some of you probably went there when you were in school. It's a very pretty spot now. But we had over 260 bags of debris brought out. So we're very aggressive that way. And I call my staff as soon as I see something out. If I see a street light out, I call 847-2020. That's at Arboretum, the head of the street lighting district. We try to make sure that you get the services that you pay for. And be very aggressive. That's what I try to do. Now, that's Public Works, public safety, humanities I talked about, support your local library. On the park system, I'm pleased to say, and I see, Richard, I know you're not a soccer player, but we got one soccer field paid for, not installed yet, at Van Nuys Sherman Oaks Park. And we're trying to get another soccer field for Jules to have, and then play the goalie on that one. You can be the goalie, Richard. That would be important. This is important because our soccer is very popular with a lot of the population, but they destroy the fields. And I think once we get the beauty of those artificial turf fields, then we get the walking paths going. Thank you, Carolyn Ramsey, for the anonymous donation that went from someone who knew you from TPL, that's the Trust for Public Land, for the workout gear that is put in there.
And we're going to have another...
Here, get to the microphone.
We have more equipment going in this week, right now, to expand the fitness area at Van Nuys Sherman Oaks Park. We're really excited about it. The council member donated half the money, and the anonymous donor donated the second half for the extended fitness area, because people were complaining they were having to stand in line too long. So,
more fitness. Anybody use that fitness, which is great? I want to say this. I used to play football, right, Lauren? Who was the quarterback on our team? Mike Haynes, Hall of Fame football player. Whoever the quarterback is, I support. I support the President of the United States, but if I was calling the play, I would get America moving in motion before we had a very big strategic healthcare plan. America's got to move. You got to walk. And I love when seniors walk, and I see there's some seniors here, because it's good to walk. Get out in the morning. Enjoy that. Walk around Van Nuys Sherman Oaks Park. Have an exciting time. Get fresh air. It's good for our health. And there's a guy named Charles Fleming who wrote a book about public stairs. He writes LA Times. He was scheduled for his 4th surgery for back. And he said, I'm going back to the doc. And he started walking public stairs. And with his body in motion, he became healthier, which is a very good thing. I also wanted to say that's our humanities efforts, and we're going to get into land use in just a minute. But I do want to let you know I'm very aggressive in trying to keep your neighborhoods up. When neighborhoods, is a broken window concept, when neighborhoods are not cared for, then things slide. I think neighborhoods are the strength of Los Angeles. From Chatsworth to San Pedro, from Venice all the way to Boyle Heights, neighborhoods are real important. I was proud to work citywide, part of my 38-year career. There's a lot of great neighborhoods. And then that's where I get to know streets. I think Valley Vista, like I say, I'm not just saying it because I'm like out here, Richard. It is a very special street, the way people care for it. 92nd Street in South Los Angeles, extremely special street. Why? Because it's a neighborhood who cares for it. And on and on and on. It's very special. I've got a lot of guff from the people at Hancock Park, because the LA Times wrote a story about our district have the worst streets. And that's because of redistricting. It's not because of you, but it's because of the Hollywood Hill streets, which are so old without curbs anyway. But I would match any home in Hancock Park way above a Beverly Hills home, because the Beverly Hills homes are not as designed like the character that you even have in Sherman Oaks. You're a quality neighborhood. But I will tell you, I haven't found a pothole in Beverly Hills. I just want to admit they do have some value out there in that little town of Beverly Hills. So here's our newsletter that does cover a variety of issues there that you can read and see. And also, Jonathan, I want to ask you, there's a big board. Bring that big board over here before Matt fires the questions at me. I just want to go over a few things there on the big board. Progress is being made in your neighborhood. We'd like to bounce it out real quick. Carolyn, help me here if you would, please. Right now, take a mic. I'm going to hold the map up and go from top to bottom. First, Richard, something I really want to do. I got 2 years to help our city and our district. And if you want to know what I want to do afterwards, I want to work for the 2024 Olympic Games. Interested in the whole Olympic world, the tragedy that's happening in Turkey is Istanbul wanted the games. If Istanbul doesn't get the games and Paris gets the games, and then it's a big, what do you call it, like a chess match around the world. But I'd love to see the games come back to Los Angeles. That was a great time in '84. And John Farrar, the late great council president I worked for, Tom Bradley, who was a great mayor, put me on his youth council when I was a youth, which was very good back in 1974. But all these things here, the one thing I really want to get is what was one of the first things I said when I like history.
Yeah, he likes history, of course. That's one of the first
question I asked Richard, okay, where is the Sherman Oak? Now, where is the Sherman Oak? So, now
we don't have one.
I know, but I could proclaim that because I went to the school of Jerry Barron. Jerry Barron was a lollipop kid in the Wizard of Oz. Remember when the house landed in the Munchkinville? It wasn't until the mayor of Munchkinville came out and proclaimed all things good. Well, I want to proclaim all things good. Yeah, now you think I'm crazy. I'm not. All things good at Sherman Oak with the first tree, because you got trees. I remember when I used to go out to Thousand Oaks years ago, when the Cowboys used to practice out there. Anybody ever do that when the Cowboys used to practice out in Thousand Oaks? You did? You're waving at somebody.
No, I'm
Exercising. She got my message. Thousand Oaks was special with all those oak trees. So we got one Sherman Oak coming. The Sherman Oak's going to be the gateway from Mulholland and Beverly Glen. We're working through the process and we want to break ground on that in the next 8 months. Go around the room right there. Some other things I do want to say real quickly. Fire Station 88 is a very special center for the division that covers the whole valley. The paramedics, the task force that's there, also the urban search and rescue. There was a plan for the county, for the Corps of Engineers, federal agency, to sell the land where the National Guard is? No, it did not happen. And we're gonna try to make it more of an earthquake center for all of Los Angeles. Now, Carolyn, take that microphone, because I don't have my glasses real quick. Real quick, go around what we got here. Traffic cleaning.
Right, we've done cleaning of traffic triangles like the Alameda median, I'm sorry, the Lorena median. We're doing other work on Alameda. But on Lorena, the council member paid for new design and installation of new landscaping in the median. And also Alice has done a lot of work to get the bid reinstituted and active again, and that's working. That's been a great boon to the Ventura Boulevard shopping district.
Big thing I'm gonna fight the MTA to try to put a train down Van Nuys Boulevard south of the Orange Line. If they do have light rail or streetcar, go from the Orange Line north. I want Van Nuys Boulevard open. I think it does impact us. I don't know if you like it or not, Richard, but those car dealerships are very important to the city, and their trucks don't go in the neighborhood, but they drop their cars in the hours off peak in the middle of the street. I don't want a rail down that. I want the rail to go over the 405, go past the fire station up to Oxnard. Thanks for helping me develop all this, Jonathan. Some other issues that we got here, traffic timing, we're trying to work the lights so the traffic timing is better. Brush clearance to the park, which we got brush clearance to the park, which is so important in the hill, installation of DWP street lights up in the area, a variety of things. Richard, you know, they sometimes present a plaque to the head of the neighborhood association. This map is for you and your board to go over. And then what I want you to do...
I'm going to put it in my living room.
No, not
right,
in
Sally?
put it in your clubhouse. Carolyn wants from you the 5 or 10 things, and I say that because you can knock off 5 or 10 things in a period of 90 days that you want to see done physically for your area. But Matt, let's go for it. Matt's got the great radio voice. You could ask questions and fire away. And here we go.
Do you have any energy left?
I got energy left.
All right. Some of the questions I'm not going to get to because I can't read some of your writing. Some of the questions are we may not get to because of time. But Richard has asked me to ask you to try to limit the answers. Okay, cool.
30 seconds.
Thanks. Okay. And if I can ask you when I call your name, if you could stand up, that way you can address your question, so he's not addressing me. So, L. Martin, are you here? Right over there? Terrific. Okay, and this kind of leads into a couple other questions as well. She asks, no exaggeration, every morning my commute begins with a 1-hour gridlock to go 1 mile to Ventura Boulevard and Sepulveda. How can you allow these huge developments without traffic mitigation?
Well, what the challenge is we're built infrastructure. One of the things from the president to the governor to the mayor, they'll all talk about jobs and how they impact that. There's a challenge in Hollywood with the development that's going on there. Specifically, how far are you from Ventura Boulevard? 1 mile. Towards Mulholland or toward the north of it? From Magnolia. You know, I live in a grid, I don't live in a grid neighborhood, I live in an old neighborhood of Silver Lake where I weave my way through other streets. There's not a lot of cut through there. I'll be happy to ask that Alice visits with Carolyn to see if there's any specific impact we could do. In one part of our district, we did restrict left turns. This is Beverly, Highland, Melrose area. And the neighborhood had to go a long way into their neighborhood, but it stopped cut-through traffic and allowed people to be mobile. I need more specifics, so we'll visit you to try to find a solution to that. Thank you. Next question.
Okay, these are all very similar questions. Mary Ann Neary, are you here? There you go. Bob Anderson, raise your hand. And Don Bostrom. Basically, they're asking a similar type of question. What is your opinion on the plans taking the rail through? And I know you touched on it, but the proposal of the rail system, the north-south, down Van Nuys Boulevard or down Sepulveda or whatever it is basically going to end at Ventura Boulevard. So what it's going to do is just going to force all this traffic. It's not going to continue over the hill.
I was on the MTA in the early part of this decade, and I walked over to then Mayor Hahn and I said, Jim, you want to start the subway up again? Because the subway was going, but then we had a heavy rain season, and all the water pockets of gas, which are underground naturally in the Rancho La Brea area, got filled with water, which pushed the gas up into the pockets, and then a guy lighting either a Winston or a Marlboro at 3rd and Ogden caused the sidewalks to flame. The water table was rising, and that caused that issue, and then it stopped all red line construction. So we're way behind. We got it started again. Yes, the subway's coming. And I'm sorry that Alan Robbins blocked the subway out in the valley. In hindsight, we should have got the valley to continue the red line out there. But I would say to you, what we have to do is what they do with BART up in the San Francisco area. By the way, it was both at 68 in San Francisco and in Los Angeles that they voted for transit. We voted it down, San Francisco voted it up. This is not the right number, but it's like this number. BART is a 162-mile system, and 92 of it is underground and the rest is above ground. You go down the center of the freeways out to Livermore. For me, for us here in Los Angeles, I would like to see us use the center of the freeways. I know we spent $1 billion here, but the center of the freeways are the access points. I do not want to see it down Van Nuys Boulevard, and I find it difficult that we would spend billions of dollars on an underground road. I know they do that a lot in Italy and some parts of France in the Alps, but I think it would be a horrific cost. But if we did go from UCLA, which I love the Bruins, my mentor was a Bruin, Milt Davis, played for Red Sanders. If there's 68,000 people who are in that complex right there every day. If there was a stop on the campus and then you weaved out to the center of the freeway, and then once you got to Sherman Oaks, and I'd have to say, Richard, I'd look at the fire department complex, I'm looking 10 years down the line, whatever, to get back on the freeway, cover the orange line. You need big rail because you'll go to it. You'll have a kiss and ride, a drop and ride. You'll ride your bikes even over to the rail line if it is there. If it comes through your neighborhood, then they'll pressure your neighborhood for heavy density. You want that density in pockets where there's a system of rail. And the only pocket really right now in the valley is North Hollywood, which has the orange line and the red line. So I would just say to the three who asked the question, Bob, on the 405 in the center island, use engineering. Engineering will change. Have it above, have it come off. And the station stops should be off. Because it's very difficult for the Gold Line to be in the middle of Lake Avenue on the middle of the 210 freeway and have a conversation. But let it come off and have some economic development that fits right around there. Matt, next question.
Okay, Marshall Long asks 2 questions. Do you consider the Ventura Boulevard specific plan optional or mandatory? And then do you consider paying taxes optional or mandatory?
Taxes are very important because it's our investment in the community. And I wish from the federal government on down, we had a discussion on how we invest in our future. Life was good for me growing up in Los Angeles. LA Unified was at the top of their game. School buses were around us when we were kids, taking us to the Arboretum, to the Cabrillo Museum, to the museums at Expo Park. But all of a sudden it dipped. People hate when the government money is wasted. That's why I talked about joint use. It's all the same money. We have to figure it out. But I do believe, the globalization has changed the dynamic of the world. But I do believe everybody should pay taxes. So that's it. And maybe, Marshall, we can figure that out. It is a joint effort there, which is real important. But it should go back. You should see your taxes being worked. What I do with your taxes now I get in my office, I try to put it for work. I don't put people writing reports that people don't read. I put them out on trucks picking up couches so neighborhoods are cleaner. I believe in that.
What about the specific plan? Mandatory or optional?
All right, but I want to ask Marshall, what about, go to the next question, or do you have any more taxes?
Well,
No.
Well, I'll give it Marshall. He's got a long history. He's got
I don't get elected to put.
Okay. I think it should be fair, on that issue. Next question, on specific plans, I follow the planning department. And also after a course of time, sometimes things need to be reviewed. But I do like to listen to neighborhood associations, but often at the end I got to make a tough call. Most of the time you'll find in the areas that I've done things that I've been fair, not always making everybody happy or smile, but fair in the process.
Okay. Speaking of development, Andrew L., are you here? Andrew L.? Back there. IMT is doing they have a big scientist building in Estra. And the neighborhood, I don't know if you were here earlier, Kimberly Gersten's chairing a committee of the neighborhood, the concerned neighborhood. Andrew lives across the street from the scientist building. His house overlooks the parking lot. What will you do to ensure that the IMT project does not result in a huge building in my front yard, ruining our neighborhood?
Basically, what I'm going to do, there'll be a process. I'm glad they're saving the Sunkist building. I think that's an iconic building. If you look at great buildings, I wish the Van Nuys City Hall was built on the corner of Van Nuys and Sylvan, not down the block. It would have more of a place. I love the dam at Sepulveda. That's a very unique architectural building. But the Sunkist building is a very important building. I think it's real good that they're going to save it because they did have some other concept that's going up. There will be some housing. There will be a process. When that process comes, we'll go. It is zoned for what right now, Jonathan? Want to address that specifically? Use the microphone. Jonathan Brand, Planning Chief.
Yeah, Jonathan. Well, right now you have multiple zones on that property. You have parking where the parking is.
Lift the mic to your microphone.
Parking where the parking is, and you have commercial where the commercial is. And on the corner at Hazeltine and Magnolia, you have commercial as well, or Riverside. There was a second building that was never built that was supposed to look similar to one that was built. Now, some of the things that when different developers came to us and said, you know, we're thinking about looking at purchasing this property, doing something with it, the councilman said, this is an iconic building, the building is to stay. That's one. Secondly, I believe the street is Cedros, the first street, am I correct? Or Calhoun, excuse me, Calhoun is the street, I think, where the person's question came from.
To the west.
That any sort of development needs to be stepped back to take into consideration the fact that you have multi-family, medium density on Riverside and single family on Calhoun. So it needs to be stepped back and gradual. We have many projects where the concentration of whatever construction is on the busy street and stepped away from the street.
Have they closed escrow or that?
I believe they have closed escrow, and also there will be no entrances to traffic off of Calhoun to protect the street. So there's been many projects along Wilshire Boulevard throughout the years that have single-family homes and apartment buildings behind it, older apartment buildings, and the job is to protect that. So,
but there should be a landscape corridor. But we'll look at the living plans and worry. I will tell you this: one of the challenges in the valley is you go from single-family to R5. In Wilshire, a lot of times you go single-family, R2, which is duplex, R3, which is light, and then the heavier in the Miracle Mile. So that's one of the challenges. But we'll work with it. But I do support development where there's a process. But I do believe they're saving the building, which is real important. And I will work your issues to the best of my ability to try to satisfy you. I will tell you, when people say they want nothing, then you lose in the planning committee. They vote against it. Let's find a common ground. And also ask for setbacks and landscaping to make it work. Matt.
Okay, three people again are asking a similar question. Dorothy, I think Mortanio, Margaret Noji. Can you guys stand up so that?
Hi, Dorothy.
And then Joe Friedman. Joe. Okay. These nice folks here are not very happy about the quality or lack of quality of the businesses that are on Ventura Boulevard between Kester and Sepulveda. There's pot shops, there's 69 adult toys, lingerie shops. I don't think your council office can do a whole lot about this, but we have three people independently, not too
Well, I want to work with the city attorney's office to try to close those pot shops. We did put forth a method. Some people smoke pot because they got cancer or AIDS and it helps them make it through the night. I know, I hike every day, Matt, in Griffith Park, and I've seen more litter now with canisters than potheads. I don't know if you've noticed that in neighborhoods where they're doing it. It needs to be tougher. I do want the AMA, but they haven't come out and said pot is the way to do it. Turn that around and get a shot of the people. Good job. I've only smoked pot twice in my life when I was a kid. And I don't do it. Thank you very much. Okay, I just want to be honest with you. So I don't want to do a Bill Clinton. Thanks for turning that around. So, I was in the Boy Scouts and I was 15. Anyway, all right, okay, enough said, Richard. So, I think that's a big issue. Also, on the adult situation, that's a First Amendment right that is there. I believe in business improvement districts. They're very important. And I think it's incumbent upon them to change that. Our best district in the city, I believe, is Larchmont, largely because it goes from Melrose to 3rd, and it doesn't have through traffic, so there's an intimacy there. Used to have a rail line, they have diagonal parking. We have 2 stop signs. Brian Gallagher put them in. You know Brian Gallagher took them out of his trunk, put them in there. Carolyn was the one who wanted to get them in there faster, but Brian beat you to it, Carolyn. That makes that street on Ventura, you gotta look at that. And I'll be happy to work with you and the Urban Land Institute or other organizations to help give a little character about that. But the best way to is try to get supportive businesses that are in there. It is difficult in some areas, but it does happen because people love villages. And you're a Sherman Oaks village, which is so key.
Okay, Norma Shalata? Okay.
I know.
How can we get this, I don't know if you're gonna have an answer for this one. This is kind of a tough one. How can we get bike lanes on Ventura Boulevard from Studio City, Sherman Oaks, and Cedar, Tarzana?
Well, I think it's very difficult to take out existing lanes and parking to make a bike lane. I like to have a parallel street, like if we look at Moore Park as a street and to try to get cyclists. There may be 5 or 10 people who live between Ventura and Mulholland who ride their bikes up and down the hill, who've got, legs of steel. At the same time, I don't want to take away traffic lanes because then you have more congestion, and through congestion you get frustration and right turns and cut through neighborhoods. So it would be difficult to look at that in some way, but I am going to work with